Welcome to the Soul Tribes, your new Sunday night vibe with lifelong friends who are twinning in energy as holistic healers, psychic mediums, Reiki healers, and also executive life coaches. And I am Amy Dascola.
And I'm Dara Jewett. Welcome to the Soul Tribes.
Thank you. And how are you, my love? How are you this new moon week, the first new moon of the new year?
I feel so amazing. I had such a great week. I was actually able to safely go back to New York and see some of my amazing Soul Tribe sisters up there. And specifically on the new moon, I chose to fly back just because I wanted to set off this new year with my intentions and affirmations aligned in flow of how I want the year to go. And that's what I always try to do, the first of the year. And then, of course, that first new moon, because in the new moon, we're planting the seeds for what we want to manifest.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, I really focused in. I booked that trip and was able to really breathe and be in the moment. Got a lot of work done for myself and for Soul Tribes, which is also my focus for this year, is to bond with you and all this amazing effort. So I just feel very excited and blessed to be here. Thank you all so much for joining us. My goddess sister, how was this wonderful new moon week for you?
So it was really good. It was wonderful. On the new moon is my coaching day. So I was able to work with my clients and just kind of walk them through normalizing the new moon manifestation process. So a couple of my clients even got a new journal just for manifesting, which I loved. And just talking to them about how it's like universal goal setting, right? And using the energies of the moon to help you to plan out your year and figure out exactly where you want to be. And I've really been big on who are you stepping into, right? So this is the time. We are still in the energy of it. We're in the space of it. So please take time this week, if you haven't already, to really set some intentions for yourself. So speaking of intentions, this week we are excited to bring a new modality to you and a new guest. Do you want to tell them a little bit about it, Dara?
Absolutely. This week, we are really excited to talk about a modality that many of you have probably at least experimented with. Almost everyone at this point has heard about meditation. So basically, I mean, I don't know who hasn't heard about meditation by now, but even if you've heard about it, sometimes not everyone knows exactly what it is or what the goal is, or therefore not goal is. So basically, we're going to break it down a little bit for you today. Meditation is basically a set of techniques that bring about a heightened sense of awareness, focus, attention, and consciousness. It's a habitual practice of training your mind to focus and redirect your thoughts, so you are more conscious and able to choose the thoughts that you want to and not allow your ego to, because as we all know, our thoughts help to manifest and create our life. So a lot of people say, well, I've tried meditation. It's just not for me. It's too difficult. It's too challenging. And my response to that is, well, did you know that there's over 10,000 different types of meditation? And so usually my clients and friends are like, really? No, I didn't know. Everyone had the assumption that it was sitting in lotus position and just, which is amazing. Don't get me wrong. It's it's a very, very powerful meditation practice, but that is, but it's definitely not the only one. So the 9 basic, most popular types of meditation are mindfulness, spiritual, focused, movement, which is one of my personal favorites because you can
Me
do it
too.
anywhere and anytime, right?
Right.
Children tend to love this one as well. If you're trying to get
Mhm.
your children into a more mindfulness practice, mantra, which can be very helpful, and as well
Yes,
is even affirmations kind of can fall into that meditation practice, which we're
that's
all
true.
familiar with
Yeah.
for the new moon. Exactly. Transcendental, progressive, and my personal all-time favorite, which is loving kindness.
Oh dear.
So
She
yes,
is.
I
She's
really
love and light. She really
yes,
is.
I really do. Plus, I heard this amazing quote, and I really do live by smile meditation as well. And someone said, "Smile," and just because you're smiling doesn't always mean that you're happy. Sometimes it
Mm.
means just that you're being strong or being brave.
Oh, I love
And
that. Yeah.
right, and by smiling it can lift you up, and it just makes you feel a little bit better. So there is even smiling meditation, and of course there's
Yeah.
many different benefits to it. Increased blood flow, it slows the heart rate, it lowers blood pressure. It definitely helps to connect you to spirit and to your higher self. It can reduce chronic pain, reduce stress, by reducing cortisol, and this is actually
Yeah.
proven. Helps with anxiety, helps with anger issues and confusion. So people, elders, it can actually help with greater retention of information, and it helps to process emotions. And of course, one of my favorites, it really does help to slow the aging process, they say. So hey,
Keep it
anyway, hey,
together.
more time on earth, more time to serve you all, right? I love
That's
it.
very true too.
So
Yeah.
yes, so goddess, how has meditation influenced and impacted your life?
So I'm big on not the sitting for hours and hours types of meditation. I'm also big on normalizing it for people because I do feel like there's such a stigma attached to it where people are like, I just have 7,000 thoughts racing through my head. I don't know how to calm them down. I can't sit for 45 minutes. I just hear a lot of negative connotations with it. So I
Mhm.
try and flip it to them. And my most helpful moments of needing releases, et cetera, or just to like center and ground myself are through movement meditations. And I go on walks and I just really am able to tune in a different way than I can when I'm still or when I'm, trying to lay down. I mean, granted, another type of meditation I do like is to just lay down for 5 or 10 minutes and see what comes to me. But I'm better at 5 or 10 minutes. So it's whatever works for you. Another huge meditation that I love to do is either in a shower or in an Epsom salt bath. For me, I love the Epsom salts and it's got magnesium in it. So those of
Yes.
you that are healers or mediums, you need extra magnesium if you're not aware of that. So it's very helpful. There's different, parts of me that have gone into very deep, serious meditations and have come up with incredible things to come out with, like my spirit guides and realizing that the Archangel Gabriel is with me. And, I was always kind of weirded out, like, excuse me, who am I to get an archangel? Like, what, how do I deserve an archangel? But what I need you to understand is that they're omnipresent and they can be anywhere with anyone at any time. And they really are here to help, right? So,
And they
our,
want to be employed just like you do. They want to help. So it's the
yeah,
ask, because we live
it
on a free
is.
will planet. So they can
Yeah.
only help if you ask.
Exactly. So please take time just to ask, I need help. I need this. Can you direct me? They respond to these messages just like a friend would. So, also, I noticed that through really going through and creating that practice within my life, that I started to tap into abundance because I was bringing in all this positive energy. I was finding that through having routines of meditating, of walking, because with the movement meditation, obviously you're also getting exercise, right? So having those practices in place all of a sudden, like, turned something on in me, hand to God. And it was like all of a sudden I realized, why not? And once that why not came in, a whole slew of business came in for me. My healing, I realized, was attracting and vibrating on the level that I was vibrating at, right? You are going to attract like things to you. So we had someone talking about the law of attraction on last week, and really going back to that, that is how you tap into abundance, is by attracting like energies. And obviously raising your vibration and vibrating at a different level will attract like energies. So to my business, I started attracting ideal clients. I started manifesting exactly what I wanted because I became clear on it. I was doing all these new moon rituals, and then I kind of started realizing, it's just within me to just manifest, and it doesn't have to wait for a new moon. It doesn't have to be, a certain stage, a certain place. Everything has to be perfect. It doesn't have to be that way. It just has to be within you to start getting clear and start really going for it and finding that vibration, and that like vibration will just be attracted to you. So that's my little meditation synopsis. But yes, just remember, you don't need 6 hours on a mountainside in, Bali. Okay. You can do it anywhere. And it could even be at a stoplight while you just need a minute to get yourself together. So Dara, now listen, we know Dara has had some serious experiences with meditation of the Bali type and the monk type. So sister, tell me all about it.
Well, my first really powerful meditation that was life altering, however, was in New York. And I wasn't expecting it. A lot of people have a goal in meditation to reach the blue pearl, or to reach this certain level of enlightenment, to connect to something. And the true, real purpose of meditation is just to become present in the present moment, just to breathe and connect.
Exactly.
And to just let it all go and become conscious that you are not your thoughts. You are actually the higher consciousness behind the thoughts, because even the fact that you're aware of your thoughts means you can't be them. And so it's really allowing you to step back and bear witness to everything. And so then you can consciously control it where you want it to go, but also not even to control it as much as it is just to release and become one with the energy, the universal energy. So when you do become completely connected to the universal energy, like I did this one day in New York, completely announced to me, it was in the midst of my spiritual awakening after my soul retrieval. I had this profound meditation where I accessed something I did not know where I was going. It was almost like I went down, it was like a computer highway lightning tube, and all of a sudden I was in infinite black space where there was no time, there was no sense of anything except for this all-knowing powerful energy source that was like this illuminating bluish light, that as I floated into it, it became almost this room with no ceilings and no floors, and just rose on each side of unlimited knowledge, all knowledge of everything that ever has been and ever will be.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind apart, because ever since that day, they say once you know what you don't know, you can never unlearn it. And then you know what you didn't know before, now you know it, and you'll never not know it. And I know that I'm sounding a little twisted right now, but the basis of it is now the door has been open.
Yeah.
I had the key the whole time, but I didn't know how to unlock it. So once I unlocked that door, the whole universe came in, and they call this the Akashic records.
Yeah.
And so I was able to access that. And that really allowed me to also just have a flood of messages in very clear ways, not only that day, but then every day since, pretty much, from my spirit guides and angels. That has really helped me to steer my life into a direction, helped me to steer my life into backpacking and leaving New York so that I can really embrace these types of techniques. And I had one of the most powerful experiences of my life on the top of a mountain. Not that you have to,
See?
but it was in
But
Peru.
she's had it.
It was in Peru. It was overlooking Machu Picchu in Huayna Picchu. And I was sitting in the sacred feminine altar. I don't need to tell you how I got there, but anyways, it was one of the most profound experiences because I felt something called Kundalini rising. And so this is like the snake, the serpent rising, and the energy rises within, and you just explode and you become something completely different again. So I just kept on deconstructing and becoming these other forms of myself through meditation. So for me, it's been extremely powerful in becoming who I am. And then when I went to Asia, I literally saw monks who, of course, are the masters. So I'm still a student. I'm still learning and growing every day. These, and they would even say they're still students, but these are the masters. I saw a monk levitate, like literally levitate. So we are only bound by the constraints of our mind, and meditation helps you to truly, truly release all of those constraints so you can become your highest self and create your dream life. So
love it.
I am so great. I'm so grateful to meditation in my life. Okay, so we are so excited this evening to be having a remarkable guest with us, someone who has inspired me for the last, I would say, what have I known you for about 4 years, Miss Patrina Wisdom. Thank you so much for joining us.
Welcome.
Yes, we're so excited. Patrina is not only a published author, she is a dynamic speaker. She is a retreat facilitator. She is a single mother of 4 amazing, remarkable little souls. I mean, they're grown, but they are
some
so
are big.
amazing. Their children are. And she is the founder of the Badass Bodacious Life Movement. I'm sorry, I even talked to Amy about this. She's the teacher. The Badass Bodacious Life. Bodacious. See, she's the teacher. Exactly. Bodacious Life Movement. She is just so inspirational in so many different ways. She has also published a book called Motherhood's Not for Punks.
I love that so much on such a deep level.
So I know you guys all want to run out and get it. You can get it on Amazon.
There it is.
Down, but you can. I saw it. It's an amazing book. I have read some of it and I'm going to finish reading the whole book, but she is so dynamic in her writing skills as well. She'll pull you right in, and she has a lot of wisdom and knowledge. And I was so blessed to meet her, like I said, about 4 years ago in San Diego. She had made such a strong, positive impression on me from the way she lived her life and also the way that she really embraced her financial badass responsibilities as a single mother. She really was an entrepreneur and she owned her truth. She owned every aspect of herself. She used to be a famous model. She's absolutely gorgeous inside and out. And she was the one who told me, Dara, you weren't born this beautiful for nothing. So utilize everything that God gave you for your highest good and don't suppress any of it, because obviously, like as women, we go through these things, these ups and downs, like how much of my beauty should I rely on or not? So I kind of was trying to hide that at that time, and I think she saw that and she was like, girl, no, own it all. And I am so grateful to you. I love you so much for that. And Patrina Wisdom, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. God, what an amazing introduction.
We just come here to make your head feel good and your heart and your soul, girl. Yes.
Exactly. Man, well, it's awesome to be here. I'm glad that you all invited me on, and yeah.
we get all the chakras. We make you feel real good everywhere, mommy.
That's fantastic. I appreciate it.
So, Miss Patrina, we are so happy to have you. As Dara said, it's an absolute joy, and I just love that you create a space for an empowerment of a money mindset for women. I mean, I just feel that is something that, has been a taboo topic. This, and there's no reason for that. That's crazy. So, what I do want to ask you, and I ask all of our guests, is how has your path led you right here, right now, to this moment? What can you speak on for that?
Well, that's a great question. Literally, my whole life has led me here, my
Right.
experiences. As Dara said, I have a background in performing arts, healing arts, so modeling, singing, acting, and then went into the healing arts, massage therapy, esthetician work, owned a salon spa, like makeup artistry, like the whole deal, right?
You do
And
everything.
I did everything. I
That's
can
it.
do a lot,
That's
yes.
it.
But we cannot be, a master of everything. And so
Yeah.
obviously over time, I've kind of honed in on what my true gifts are. But
Sure.
great experiences, all great experiences. But when I was in that time of my life where I was really into the creative and the spiritual, everything was like very ethereal and up in the air. And like, it was all about spirituality and creativity and nothing else mattered. And I don't need money and la, 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 right? Just really living up in the clouds.
Yeah.
And obviously life will let you know very quickly that you can be up in
Which
the
is
clouds
fact.
and be ethereal and be spiritual and be creative, and you still need to have
Bills.
money, right? You got to take care of that physical realm also.
Right.
So really my big awakening around the importance of financial education, financial responsibility, financial respect really of money
That's what
came
it is.
from my
The respecting it.
experience. It's a relationship like anything else, right? We
Mhm.
have to be in relationship with money, and we have to respect it and all of that. And I learned that, unfortunately, the hard way. I mean, I grew up with a single mom who had me at a very young age. She was 16 when she had me. She grew up broke. All of her sisters and her one brother grew up broke. There were 5 of them, right? So they didn't know anything about money. They struggled. All the women in my family had children at a young age, never got married, never bought homes, never had any money. So this is the legacy I came from, which is where the ideas
Right.
of money is not important as long as you have love and family and God, right? That's where that came from. And so just like my family, I fell in love at a very young age. I ended up in a relationship. I ended up having child, just like I followed that same path. And
Right.
fortunately, I fell in love with someone who came from a completely different background. His background is that he had 2 parents, right, that were married for over 40 years. They had degrees, they had bought homes, they were pretty financially stable. But at the same time, they had never had a financial education either. So it's so funny how you can have such different backgrounds and one looks so much better than the other. But underneath it all,
same path.
there's still
Yeah.
that lack of education and the lack of worth and the lack of feeling worthy to be abundant, right, and wealthy.
Right.
So
Yeah.
my husband, so fast forward, me and my husband, boyfriend at the time, we're together for like 12 years, break up for 3, get back together, we end up getting married. And he gets introduced to a financial business. At the time, he's in management at the Las Vegas Hilton, because that's where I was living. And we were doing well. Yeah, we were doing well. I had my businesses. I've always been an entrepreneur, but more like a solopreneur, trading time for money. He was in management, never thought he would ever be an entrepreneur, but he gets introduced to a company that sits down with us, educates us financially, and we get our own financial house in order and start moving towards financial independence. He actually saw the value in what the company did and how they help people. So he's actually the one who started in the financial business. Me at the time, even though, okay, now I got the education and I kind of saw the value, I still wasn't 100% bought in, right?
Right. Well, you were still up here.
You were
too,
still in your creative flow.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, babe, you do that. You handle the money and I'll handle everything else. Right? I'll be my free spirit butterfly hippie self. And you play your role and I'll play mine.
Yes.
Yes.
So that worked out beautifully. We had, 3 kids, couple cars, couple houses. We were building this incredible life. He eventually went full-time into the financial business. So I was more of a supporter. And I was always around. I went to all the events. I went to different classes, and I would always have all this information around me. But knowing concepts and knowing things and actually applying them are very different. Totally. Can you say amen on that one?
Amen. Yes.
Right? So up until that point, you know, I had more confidence, like I'm feeling good. I have my swag because we've created this incredible life and we're traveling and we're doing all of these things. But if you fast forward 2008, you know, the market crashes, financial crisis, everything's going on. And unfortunately, my husband had, I guess, kind of built his identity around who he was in his career and not so much on a lot of the principles that I found important, which was really cultivating who you are as a person and your spirit and your soul, right?
Right.
So when the market crashed and finances were affected and, you know, he had clients that he was trying to take care of and all of these things, unfortunately, my husband fell into a depression. And you know, that's nothing I ever would have recognized because I hadn't up until that point had any experience with depression or any of that kind of stuff. I'm like a naturally joyful person. I wake up chipper and totally annoy the person next to me. But I didn't even recognize it as depression. I just thought, you know, ironically, he was actually more joyful. He was more like free, it seemed, during this time. It was really strange. But if you fast forward to 2009, January of 2009, my husband woke up one morning, put on his suit and tie, grabbed his briefcase. He gave me and my 3 kids a kiss goodbye, told us he loved us, and then he walked out the door knowing he wasn't coming home. Yeah. So he went missing. Yeah, he went missing for 24 hours, and the next morning I found out he had committed suicide.
Oh, Miss Patrina.
Yeah. So overnight, my life completely changed.
I know it did.
Right?
I know
and
it did.
Rug pulled out from under me. And I was left holding the bag, right? So now I'm a single mom, I'm head of household, I've got to handle the finances. And then on top of it, I ended up inheriting our financial business, right? So I ended up having to kind of step up and take over the financial business. So that's kind of the beginning of how this whole journey started. Now, meanwhile, I took over the business, but I took it over more out of obligation, right?
Yeah.
Protecting his legacy, wanting
And his
to continue.
name. Exactly. Yeah.
Wanting to continue what we had started building.
And to honor him, you know, I'm sure too, you felt a lot of responsibility to keep up what you had begun and what he worked so hard. As you said, he built it, you know, from the bottom. So how do you not, right?
And the clients were depending on you already.
Yeah. Exactly. The clients were depending on us.
Yeah, you felt like, you didn't want to let them down.
Yeah, the business partners, the clients, everybody. And for me personally, one of my big, like what attributed to my decision also was all of the people that I would be able to help through taking over the business, even though it wasn't my passion or any of these things. I'm like, well, here I am now, a product. Because
she's such an amazing person. Seriously. No, she is. She has a heart of gold.
Oh gosh, it gets me in trouble sometimes. But I mean, I think women, we as women, period, we're such nurturers, we're such healers, right? That we want to just help everybody. And sometimes we put ourselves on the back burner in order to do that. So that's a lot of what I talk about in my book, is that I completely put myself on the back burner. I put my pain on the shelf. I never really dealt with the grief or anything. And I'm like, okay, I got to put my big girl pants on, suck it up, and keep on moving for my kids and for my family and for my business partners. So obviously, if you do that for too long, eventually you're going to hit a wall. I hit a wall. I hit a wall. It took about 2.5 years for me to hit that wall.
That's a long time to keep it together.
That's a long time.
That is a long.
And during that 2.5 year period, I had actually started a nonprofit. Like I was doing the most. I don't even know what the heck I was doing, honestly. Right? I was in automatic mode. But you fast forward.
That's
plus you were processing. Let's not forget.
Well, I wasn't processing.
Well, or not, but you
put it away.
But I was going to say, that's how you were dealing with it, though. At that time, you put it away, and that's how you got through that, because you had to be a mother, and you had to keep it together. So that was a way that you just kind of
Yes.
plowed through and you were able to keep living.
Exactly. I just completely numbed out. I checked out. I
Yeah.
put it in a drawer, locked it away, threw the key out, and was like,
Yep.
okay, yeah, moving on, right? But
Yeah.
again, it catches up with you. So I
Eventually,
ended up building up the courage to be able to just walk away completely from the business, from Las Vegas, from my family, like from everything. And that's how I ended up moving to San Diego with me and my 4 kids. Because the same day my husband passed away, I found out I was pregnant as well. I kind of forgot that part. So it was me and my 4 children that moved to San Diego. And what I did was I decided I was going to put me first. You know, I decided I was going to pursue my passion and really do what I felt like I was here to do in the healing arts and the transformation industry with coaching and speaking. And that's when I wrote my book and all of these amazing things. I built my personal development company. But it's funny how when you're called to something, right, your life is a ministry. And when you're called to something, when you have a purpose, when you have your karma that you're fulfilling, that it always comes back.
It does.
So,
it does.
So after all the success I had in personal development and the book and all of the stuff, this business came knocking on my door 8 years
we're
later.
We're not done with you yet.
Exactly. And it just so happens that at the time that it knocked on my door again, I had started to really realize that I needed to create more leverage in my life. And also I had been working with women for 8 years and realizing their blind spots in regard to money. And so when it came to me, my first instinct was like, no, I don't want to go backwards. I want to go forward. But then when I really sat with it and I meditated on it and I just kind of asked source what the best course of action was, it was like, hey, we need to bring the above and the below together. And you need to be the leader and the specialist in this area of showing up with all of your spirituality and all of who you are, but also speaking on this very taboo issue of money and helping people heal that. So yeah, kind of a long story, but that's how.
But it's amazing.
Yeah,
so what is, I need everyone to know, and we're just like, we really want to hear from you. What is the badass, bodacious life movement? What is that all about?
So life is an evolution, right? Well, after my husband passed and I started my personal development company and I started coaching and speaking, I was doing it under the name The Fresh Start Specialist. And the reason that I was doing that is because I was working with a lot of people in transition, right? I had gotten through my stuff and now I wanted to help people through theirs. Well, after doing that for probably about 5 years, I really got burnt out working with people that were in it because now I was so far ahead of it, right? And it was just like energetically, it wasn't fun. It felt very heavy. And I was just like, oh, and I was noticing that, okay, I make these changes, but then I don't get to affect their lives long term. I don't get to be a part of their transformation because once they get what they get, now they're gone, right? That's yeah. So I said, well, rather than me being just a coach, I want to be a transformational leader. I want to create something that will live on far beyond me, right? A legacy. And so I created the Badass Bodacious Life movement because that's what comes after you heal the shit.
That's it. Right? You're right, though. Yeah, it's because there needs to be a place to live it and celebrate it and be it, right? I love that.
So it's living 100% unapologetically, unleashed, and really acknowledging, embracing, and expressing all of the parts of you. Like I can be a mom, and I can be beautiful, and I could be spiritual, but I could be sexual, and I could be everything, right? I get to be a virgin and a slut, right? I get to be all of it.
Exactly.
So, really kind of letting
and masculine and feminine and embrace it all. Yes.
There you go. Exactly. So it's just that balance, just like there's the above and the below. There's also all of these different opposing energies, and society tells us we have to choose. Screw that. We don't have to choose. We get to be all of it. So that's what the Badass Bodacious Life movement is. It's a community. It's a movement.
Love that. I love that too.
So let me ask you, we've been talking about tapping into abundance, but what do you feel like, what is the financial abundance mindset? Like, what is that mindset that helps you to tap in, or how, speak to that for us?
Well, I think I said it a little bit earlier. I think that the key to abundance, for one, is worthiness. You have to align with the energy of feeling worthy to create wealth, have wealth, keep wealth, all of it. Create wealth, right? You have to have a sense of worthiness. But you also have to have, like I said, an appreciation or respect for money. And you have to just have the courage to acknowledge that it's important. Right?
Yeah.
Now, beyond that, you want to also get educated. So that's part of what I do, is I provide financial education for people. And then I figure out where it is that they are now, where they want to be. And because I'm a financial advisor, I can actually help them put the plan together to actually make those things happen. So there's some of us who kind of work on the realms of like financial abundance in the spiritual realm of like readiness and energy and all of that, which is amazing. You need to do that. But then you also have to have a clear vision of what it is that you're creating.
The actual tools, the actual steps.
Yeah.
To apply, to put the
vision.
action.
Yeah. And you have to have the vision even before the plan. Right. So if I sit with somebody and they have no vision of what it is they're trying to create, I can't really help them too much. They got to have that vision first, you know, whether it's retirement or, you know, like me, I wanted to create my retreat center, right? If I don't have the vision of the retreat center, then nobody can help me actually put together the plan. So there's this ethereal realm, and then there's the vision, and then there's putting it on paper and coming up with a strategy that's going to help them get there. And so when I'm working with people, I really look at all of that. I look at something I created called the wisdom system. And it's an acronym. So the W is who you are. Who are you, right? Really getting to the truth of who you are. The I is identifying the disempowering thoughts, stories, habits that are going to prevent you from achieving what it is that you're going to try to achieve, right?
Right.
The S, exactly. The S is sacred self-care. And all of us as women, like, we really need to practice this sacred self-care of treating ourselves as if we are God, because we are the epitome. We are the manifestation of God energy. And then beyond that, now you have to actually declare this new truth, declare who you are into the world, right? Figure out what your mission and your purpose is. Once you have that done, now you want to organize it into a plan and then move into action with accountability and support. So this way you're covering those spiritual, internal, mental, physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, but you also have that physical piece of action and support. So that's the system really that I work with, no matter what I'm doing, whether it's personal development, financial development, or anything else. I'm looking at all of it.
I love that. I love an acronym.
Yeah, in alignment completely. Because as we were speaking, I believe it was last episode or the one before, it's really about, you know, getting clear, the thoughts, the feelings, the words, and the actions for manifestation. And she's speaking about it again with even more clarity. And I am so in alignment with that. And as you also spoke about meditation, and that being an aspect, how has meditation specifically as a modality helped you? Because I know you use, Patrina's amazing. She's just like Amy and I. She's into absolutely everything. She's our goddess soul sister. I am so in love with my sister. She's into as you can see, the crystals. She's into
got it all.
Her, you know,
I make the jewelry. I do it all.
But we're speaking about meditation.
Patrina said she doesn't sleep.
Yes. So how has meditation specifically helped you to achieve such a powerful mindset and create such a remarkable life?
Meditation for me has been everything, to be honest. So I used to do yoga a lot, right? So yoga was like the first real spiritual modality that I was introduced to, that I fell in love with, but I didn't know how to meditate outside of doing the actual postures, right, of yoga. Well, I went and I got my certification in yoga because it was just a bucket list thing for me. Never wanted to teach. I just wanted to do it for myself. And the biggest gift that I received from that yoga training was meditation. That the meditation itself is actually the thing, not the postures, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
And speak on that, because I think a lot of people think that yoga came first and then meditation, but really how yoga was designed after to help you meditate longer.
Exactly. So meditation is the yoga. And if you had to choose one over the other, choose the meditation, because the meditation actually has the more health benefits as well, right? So when you quiet the mind, then you can hear, right? And so we can't be guided by spirit or source or whatever you believe in, the universe, God, without being able to hear. So you have to quiet the mind and rid all of your stinking thinking and all of the external stinking thinking and voices and programming that we have coming at us every single day, in order to really ground in and hear the truth. So for me, that's what meditation does. It's where I go when I know I'm out of balance. It's when I know I'm not aligned, when I feel like I start to move too far into my masculine and I'm pushing and forcing and, you know, trying to make things happen instead of allowing things to happen.
That's
It's so funny. This is my thing this year, that I grow my business in flow.
Oh, yes. I love that, guys. Oh my God.
Because that's what it is. We get so caught up in this, I need it now. And it's like, no, nothing's going to come with that energy. You got to match it.
It's true. It's true, because you can't create abundance from scarcity. And when we're in that energy of like grab and work and push and force and create and, you know, I have to do, no, that control energy, it's not the right energy. I find that the times when I'm starting to kind of lean into that, I sit, you know, I take time, I get in my meditation corner back here, I light my incense, and I just ground in, and things start happening immediately. Why? Because I surrendered, I let go, and I asked for that support from my guides, my angels, or whoever else. So
we were just speaking on. I love that. Yes.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Yes. It's so powerful.
We're so grateful to all of you. Thank you.
Yeah, sometimes the most powerful.
Let's give the spirit guides and the angels a little bit of props right now.
Yes,
seriously, because they're helping us all.
Yes,
absolutely. And anything we do in community, in, you know, in partnership with support, with accountability, it's also going to work. So whether it's in the spiritual realm or in the physical realm, we always need support. That receptivity, and one of the things I learned probably about like maybe 5-6 years ago, is that I used to be so far into my masculine and being the creator of everything and making things happen, that I had this closed fist, right? Where I would never ask for anything, right? And I never wanted to receive anything. It wasn't until I opened my hand, not only to give, but to receive, to say yes to the gifts and yes to the help, and ask for what I needed, that now the blessings can flow, right? When you have your fist closed, nothing can get in. So it's really powerful.
That is, wow, yes. And I can attest to that. Definitely. I can attest to what you're saying, that I also, you know, I've had to live my whole life making sure that I was okay, that, you know, I always had to have my own back. So I've never been married. And so it's always watching out for myself. And then getting into a relationship and having to say, wait a minute, I have to release and trust and allow help. And even relationships with friends, allowing them to help, because, you know, sometimes some of us, as you said, we're givers, and it's almost like we feel guilty for asking for the help, or even from taking help when someone offers it. It's like, no, don't worry about me. I got it. It's fine. And it's like, no, if you want to be in the flow, we have to receive as much as we give. And that's okay. We're not being greedy, and we're not being selfish. We're being in alignment. And it's okay to receive, and women need to hear that. It's okay to receive. You deserve it.
Do you want me to blow your mind off for a minute?
Yes, I love it. Yes.
Permission to blow your mind off, because this was a huge awakening that I had. I think I even put it in the book. I did put it in the book. So we have, those of us who have that tendency to nurture and give, but don't receive, it's actually selfish. It's a selfish act. And it's also a form of control, and it gives us significance. And we don't see it because we're thinking, well, we just want to help. We just want to give. So we have this like savior complex, right? And man, that was like the biggest, most heartbreaking awareness for me ever, because I thought, oh my God, I would always be like, but I'm such a good person. What do you mean? Right. And it,
I learned that
right there
in
just
Peru
broke me
with
right open.
Yes. With the shaman, I learned I had control issues.
Yeah.
And once I learned I had control issues, then I learned, okay, now the only way to really let go is to release the control. And then you'll get to a state where you're like, oh, I got this. I can release the control. I'm figuring it out. And then all of a sudden you don't have control, like, and you start falling again because you thought you had control, because it's not having control over the control issues. It's about really releasing it.
Exactly.
Because I was trying to have control over my control issues. I was like, no, this isn't working. Like,
this isn't doing it.
To release it.
Yes, it's the flexibility, it's grace, right? It's all of it. It's giving ourselves permission to like flow.
Let go and just receive, because there's so, we've all brought good into the world, but there should be good deserved back to us. Like that's just a part of it.
Absolutely.
Well, Miss Patrina, it has been a blessing to have you. We are just so happy to have your knowledge and your bodacious self. And I mean, you are a tribute to what women are capable of. So thank you so much for sharing your deep, deep story and just showing us that, you know what, you still shine light on it. Regardless of what you're given, it doesn't mean you have to stay like this. Instead, you can open your heart and open yourself to the path that's really there for you, whether it may fall on deaf ears sometimes. And you're like, but what? A financial again? Are you sure? Come on. But it did. And look, now you're such a blessing to so many people out in this world. So thank you. Thank you. We'd love to have you stay with us a couple more minutes just so you can vibe through. What we do is a little soul work. So, we all have a little journal.
Little magic journal, magic pens.
Yes. And so I'm going to go through some questions that are relevant to Miss Patrina. Oh, and Miss Patrina's got hers. And so she's got it all.
That's my retreat journal, the Pure Abundance Retreat.
I love it. And we will speak to, we will tell.
And my magic pen says positive vibes.
Oh, yes. I love that.
That's so sweet. Perfect. See?
She literally writes magical positive vibes with her magical positive pen.
Nothing else can be written with that pen.
Girl. I love
it. So, speaking to Miss Patrina, what are your financial goals? Stop there, thinking about, you're going to write out what are your financial goals. As she said, you need to have, what is that castle goal? What is that thing you're going after? But then what I want to hear is, what is blocking you from reaching them? Is it a scarcity mindset? Is it, I don't know how, I need help, I'm not sure what to do? Or is it something even much deeper? Is it the value of yourself? Because as we know, in order to receive, you have to feel worthy, right? Now, after we've calmed down our blocks, we're going to think about, what meditation practices appeal to you? Now, we've talked about different modalities. You can do the long meditations that you really are going to get the bang for your buck. You can do a movement meditation. You can meditate in the shower. You can meditate in the ocean. You can meditate in your car, sister. Shut the door, play some music, and get yourself.
Just don't drive.
Yes, please don't drive. But I mean, I have been known once or twice to do it at a stoplight.
Hopefully not with Sophia.
No, I mean, but it's just that like minute. Sometimes you just literally need a minute. And that's all I'm saying to you. It's just that You don't need to make it this grandeur event, okay? But it can be. So how can you implement whatever modality, way you want to do it into your daily life? So as you see, us three, we are all proof that it works, right? Then I want you to step into Miss Patrina, and I want you to see what in life empowers you to feel like a badass living a bodacious life, okay? Because we all can step into that energy, honey, as long as you step in. And
Yes.
Dara was saying to me one way she feels to step in. Go ahead.
Like honestly, sometimes just putting on red lipstick or putting on heels makes me feel like a badass. Sometimes it's actually doing the opposite and putting on hiking boots and some yoga pants and hiking up the top of the mountain. So it really depends on my
Honor
mood.
that.
Yeah, and it depends on what I'm channeling, but I really have learned how to embrace all sides of me and just really feel empowered. And honestly, when I'm doing a coaching session or when I'm doing a healing session, that also really makes me feel like a badass living in my most bodacious life, because I really feel like I'm living my purpose, and my clients are so thankful and transformed, and I see the improvements in their life and I see how happy they are. And it just makes me feel like, yes, like I am living my purpose. So
Exactly. So
what
step
is
into
empowering
it.
all of you? So yeah, what is empowering you to feel like a badass? And how can you empower yourself more? Let's add that on. How can you empower yourself even more to feel like a badass in even more areas of your life? Like maybe your diet, like be a badass and get control of your diet. Be a badass, get control of your fitness routine. Be a badass and be the best mother or father that you can imagine. It can be attached to every single area of your life.
Absolutely. And so I would like to come to a close. It has been wonderful being with this tribe of women, and I am just honored to be a part of it with you. And if you would like
thank
to
you
connect,
so much, Patrina.
yes, thank you, Miss Patrina.
Thank you, Patrina. Thank you all for joining in. Thank you, Patrina, though. Yes. And yeah, if you want to connect, go ahead, Miss Dascola.
If you want to connect with Miss Patrina, you can find her on Facebook or Instagram under the handle of Patrina Wisdom, Patrina Wisdom, like she is. And she has some exciting retreats going on this year called the Pure Abundance Retreat, because obviously she's tapped into her abundance.
Yes,
so you can find that on Instagram and Facebook, and her websites are pureabundanceretreat.com and patrinawisdom.com. You can find myself on Instagram and Facebook, Amy Dascola Medium, and you can find me at amydascola.com. And of course, the soultribes.com is where we also are. And Miss Dara?
And in addition to the soultribes.com, I'm just going to say you can also, of course, see us on YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, and we are also on
Apple Podcasts.
Apple
and make
Podcast,
sure to subscribe and to rate and review. Please, please, please.
Please. And you can connect with me, IG and Facebook. You can find the connections on IG, just DARAJEWETT, Dara Jewett. So you can find my website to connect with me. You can find Facebook and Instagram and all my other handles. But it's so great to connect with all of you tonight. We're so grateful that you took the time to really sit and learn about having greater financial mindset skills and hopefully getting on the path to creating greater financial blessings in your life, because this is the year that you can manifest anything you want, right? So let's get it. Let's connect. Thank you so much, Patrina. You are so amazing. I know that you're probably going to get loads of people ready, signing up, waiting to embrace their best financial future. And of course, she does a lot of other things too. So definitely tune into her. She's very spiritual as well. So you can connect with her, connect with us. We love you all.
All right.
Thank you
Bye.
so
Thank
much.
you, Miss Patrina. And everyone have a
Thank
wonderful
you.
and blessed week. Okay. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.
Bye.